Afghanistan's winter chill has brought fresh levels of suffering to a people who've endured decades of it. And in one of the poorest countries, its poorest region may well be the birthplace of the world's largest humanitarian disaster. So the women of Badghis queue for hours just for free paracetamol for the sick. In Afghanistan's most deprived province, nothing comes easy and everything's scarce. Desperation is the only commodity not in short supply here. They're having to cram babies onto beds in the main provincial hospital. It's standing room only here. A measles outbreak is ripping through them. In the tiny, with already poor immunity, measles can be a death sentence. The insecurities meant vaccines haven't been given. And there are widespread claims it's the Taliban who prevented them. The number of measles here is very high, the doctor tells us. We don't know how to help them, he says. It's very hard for all of us. The Talib, now in charge of health services, has no medical qualifications and left school at 14. Not so long ago, he was fighting foreign troops and blames others for the current mess. Everyone knows the previous president, Ashraf Ghani, was the most corrupt person in the most corrupt government in the world, he tells us. And we have a lack of everything. That means those who are least able are losing this fight. Arezzo breathed her last, aching with hunger and in a bitingly cold tent. Her father travelled 3 hours to this, their nearest hospital. But no one can help his daughter now. The 2-year-old's parents wrap up her frozen body with the air of people with no hope, who never expected help and didn't get any. We're living in tents, her father says. Some people don't even have tents where we are. There's no warm place, and that's why she died. We just couldn't keep her warm. There's no time for grief. They've 2 more children to keep alive. There are too many like Arezzo who've perished, starving and cold. It never gets any easier. Misery stalks every corridor and every ward. She's already lost 2 other children. Now Rizma's youngest is only just clinging to mum. Kadia has a range of complications, all of them normally treated easily. But these are not normal times in a country where little is functioning normally right now. The baby has pneumonia, measles, a fever, and at the root of it all, poverty and little food. They bring in a nebulizer to help. It seems to do little. In a country where billions were spent over 2 decades, the young are suffering terribly. Later the same night after filming this, Kadia also succumbed. Afghanistan's babies are dying at a shockingly high rate. In the maternity wards, Samaya and the other teenage mothers edge towards labour filled with fear. Like Asya, she was sold into marriage at 14. They're all living in a country with one of the highest maternal mortality rates. Every girl here knows surviving the birthing experience will be one of their toughest challenges. I'm really scared I'm going to die, Asiya says. You'll be okay, Dr. Wahida tells her. We'll look after you. When 16-year-old Samaya is finally trying to deliver her baby, there's no pain relief. There are few medicines at all here. The midwives must cut her if her baby's going to be delivered alive. It's been a difficult and traumatic delivery, and the baby is completely limp and unresponsive. Bring a towel, quickly, the doctor's calling. I'm really scared, the exhausted new mother says. She's worried for herself and her newborn son. She looks on as the midwives work fast now. Every second is going to count if this baby is going to live. He doesn't appear to be breathing. They frantically suck out the amniotic fluid which is threatening to drown him. They have few medical tools to help them save this baby. But my goodness, they're using them as best they can. Then finally, a gulp of air. They tie his umbilical cord. But he's not yet out of danger and still not responding well. He's taken to the resuscitation room where there's a rolling queue of babies needing help. They need to get more oxygen inside this baby's lungs. But the hand pump is defective. Most of these medics are working for very little and have hardly been paid since the Taliban came to power and foreign aid suddenly stopped. But this little boy's battle to live is their fight too. Both mother and baby have somehow got through this, but the baby starts his life in a land where most are hungry, and the entire Afghan society is teetering on the edge of collapse. Alex Crawford, Sky News in Bad Geese.